What is going on, everybody? This is Dylan with Dylan Talks Tone, and today we're doing something a little different. So we are packing to go on a trip for the weekend. Usually, I bring a guitar with me. Typically, it's this one right here, my McPherson Sable carbon fiber acoustic, because, well, you can take it anywhere. You can use it for anything, and it just doesn't care. You can leave it in the trunk of the car. It could be 100 degrees. You could take it to the ocean. It doesn't matter. It's super awesome, and it's 100% stable. Normally, I don't bring an electric guitar because you don't want to deal with amps and stuff. You don't want to deal with all that mess. But as you can see, there's a blank spot. Today, we're changing it up. Today, we are bringing the PRS Silver Sky. Let me show you what changed my mind on this. It's this guy right here, the Positive Grid Spark Mini, and it is tiny. It's like a little thing. Now, as you know, I have the Positive Grid Spark 40. You see it on the desk and in the background a bunch of the videos. We've done a bunch of stuff with that amp. I love it. You don't even know how much I've used it in videos for demos and stuff, because I don't tell you what I'm using. I just use it. And you've probably heard it. Well, this thing is a little different. It's got less knobs on it. It's only 10 watts, but it's battery powered. So let's take this thing with us this weekend. And yeah, let's kind of see how it works. It's gonna be real world because we're gonna take it to Myrtle Beach for the weekend. And I'm gonna do some practicing. And for the first time in a while, I'm gonna be able to take an electric guitar with me. All right, so we made it to Myrtle Beach on our little vacation, staying in this hotel on the beach. It's pretty sweet. Pretty cool spot. Anyway, so let's chat a little bit about this amp. Let's go over the basics first, and then I will show you some more specifics, run you through how I'm actually using it. So you can see the size. It's really small. I didn't weigh it. I forgot to weigh it, but it's probably about 1.5 pounds, maybe 2 pounds. Yeah, so this one, because we ordered it on like this pre-order thing, I got this red grill, which is pretty cool. It also comes with the normal Positive Grid kind of brown and gold grill that you see on the Positive Grid Spark 40. So specifically first, let's look at just the basic controls. We got 3 knobs on the top with the input jack, as well as some display lights that we'll get into in a minute. And then on the back side, we've got headphones, aux in, USB, a pairing button, and a power button. And then the other thing is, this grill will actually come off, like I alluded to a moment ago, and you can see the speakers in there. Now, I want you to look at these speakers for a second, but don't get too freaked out. They're little, but they're very cool. And then if you look at the bottom of the amp, you'll also see a big speaker on the bottom. There's like a bass reflex with a down-firing woofer in it. So, what I like about this thing is it feels like an actual amp. Some of these little kind of practicing amps are just like a plastic box with a speaker in it. Like, you plug the cable in and it'll just like fall off the table. This is not that. This is like a substantial piece of equipment, much like the Spark 40, but obviously a lot smaller. Okay, we've got a guitar with us. Let's go inside. I'm going to show you how it works with the app, because you're probably wondering what's going on with these little buttons. These little knobs, there's only 3 knobs. What does it do? Let's dive in. Okay, so first things first, you're going to want to make sure that this thing is USB charged. That is actually how you charge the thing, with the USB-C cable that is included in the package. And then you're going to want to download the app to your phone. And so the directions that come with it, there's a little quick start guide that'll help you to do that really quick. So then what we're going to do is we're going to power on the amp with the power button, and when the power comes on, you will see the little green light up there. You'll know that it's charged because, as you can see, we're not plugged into anything. This thing is totally wireless, and it gets about, I think, 8 to 10 hours of playtime, something like that. And so here you go. So now we have the app, so now we can connect the amp to the phone. This is exactly like the Spark 40, but it's a little bit more important with this, because let's get back to the specifics of those 3 controls. So those 3 controls are preset, guitar volume, and music volume. So you can Bluetooth this to your phone, and you can listen to YouTube videos or whatever. There's a bunch of stuff in the app that I don't really use that much, but you can do that. You can actually just use this thing as a Bluetooth speaker as well. So, but then the most important thing, though, is we have instrument volume, which is guitar, and then we also have this preset. And you'll see we've got rhythm, lead, solo, and custom. The other thing with these lights is I think if you hold down the pairing button on the back, you'll see them blink once like that. Now watch this. Now we come over to our phone, and if I pluck a string on the guitar, it's a tuner. So that's pretty cool. So you can use the phone, or you can use the little indicator lights on there as your tuner. Now you might see those 4 modes, and you might think, well, that's a little bit limiting, and all I have is instrument volume here. There's no bass, treble, none of that kind of stuff. But since we're paired to the phone, we can then go into each of these amps. If we flip this on the amp, it will flip it on the screen. Now these are just presets. There are many amps in here. Many amps. So let's just, for the sake of simplicity, go to this rhythm one right here, and we tap above it, and we've got effects. And we can say, well, I don't want to use a clean boost. Let me just hold my finger there, or double tap maybe. There we go. And we can pick a clone drive, a tube drive, all these drives. And you can buy some more. There's fuzzes. There's all kinds of stuff. And you can move the volume on there. You can do all of this. Is just like the regular Spark 40. Everything in here. You can change your controls on your amp and do whatever you want, or you can choose a different amp. They've got all of your time-based effects and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty sweet. So what I like about this now is I can make whatever changes I want in here, and then I can come up here to these 3 dots, and I can hit save as new, save to tone cloud, save to hardware preset. When you save to hardware preset, then we can choose which one of these hard buttons on the amp that we save it to. I'm not going to do that right now, but I have done that. And so when we go up to custom, this is my preset that I've changed. And you can change all of these to whatever you want, but I've just used that custom one. So now let's grab the guitar and we'll go through some presets, and I'll show you what this thing sounds like. Okay, final thoughts on the old Positive Grid Mini between the helicopters and the people screaming on the beach and the ice cream truck. So, should you buy one of these things? First of all, I think this is probably the best little practice amp that's out there right now. Better than any of the other brands that I have tried and that I can think of, in the respect that it is an actual piece of equipment, not just a little plastic box with a speaker in it, like I said earlier. The other thing I will say is that it sounds fantastic in the room. A couple of things to note there. This will not sound like a 412 cabinet. It is small, okay? So, oh, it sounds tiny and boxy. It is a tiny little box. However, it punches way above its weight. One of the reasons that it does that is because what I showed you earlier, those two little speakers, they're actually not flat in there. They're on a little angle. And when you're playing with this thing in front of you, it gives it a nice kind of wide image of the sound that you're playing. This is going to sound stupid to say, but it's going to sound, it's a little amp, so it's going to sound better in a smaller room. That sounds dumb, but what I mean by that is when you've got walls around you or reflection areas around you, it really, like the reverbs and the delays and stuff, they sound really, really nice. Now in a huge room or playing outside, that might get lost a little bit, but what they've done with this speaker design, with the 3 speakers that are in here, I think is a real hit. As you heard in the recording, you saw it on the screen, I labeled one of those tracks that was from the speaker itself versus actually going through the USB on the computer. What you will find is that you kind of have to EQ the amps for one or the other. Some of the sounds sound fantastic through headphones, but then when you listen to them the way you have them EQ'd, they don't sound as good through the speaker. Then you go in there and kind of fix the EQ to sound good through the speaker. Conversely, they don't sound awesome through the headphones. The one I shared with you, it did. It sounded great in the room and it sounded great through the headphones. Some of them you kind of have to mess around with a little bit. Just, it's not a critical thing, it's not a downside, it's just the reality of having the little speaker versus playing through headphones and playing into a DAW. Ease of use, it paired easily. If you're kind of not tech savvy, it's fairly simple. Navigating the app is pretty cool. There's a whole bunch of features in the app that we did not get into that I just don't find personally inspiring, but they were very cool. I'm just not into some of the, like the YouTube learning music stuff and all that. I just don't use it. But there are some very good videos out there about that for this and the Positive Grid Spark 40. Now the real question is, should you buy one? I think if you need a practice amp, you should totally buy one. I think this replaces like the little rolling cube things. It replaces, honestly, it's way better than the Black Star little, whatever that thing is, the little Katana Mini, all those things. This is better than that because on the app side of it, you just get way more sounds, way more possibilities. You get to experiment with all kinds of different pedals. It's awesome. And then if you don't want all that option paralysis, you just have the presets, or you can mess around with it once, set it up and just have 3 or 4 presets here that you like and don't have to mess around with it. If you already own the Spark 40, the Positive Grid Spark 40, do you need this? I would say no, unless you want the portability. Not having to plug it into anything and just take it with you. I would say don't get it if you already have the Spark 40, especially because the Spark 40 does get a lot louder and you can use it in kind of, you know, coffee shop situations, although the speaker honestly doesn't sound as good as this little baby one. So there you go, the Positive Grid Spark Mini. I will put links to it in the description of this video. If you use those links, it helps the channel out a little bit. I should say, this is not a sponsored video. I paid for this myself. I pre-ordered it when they came out, just like everybody else. I paid the money. I was just really excited about it because I'm excited about it. I think it's cool. I have it here on vacation, and I will bring it on vacation the next time. So, they did not pay me to say any of this stuff or any of that kind of thing. Thanks for hanging out, and I'm glad that you were able to watch this video. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit the bell and all the things so that you don't miss any other videos that we got coming out. Because with all this traveling, I got some other travel-y guitar ideas too that I think you might dig. Make sure you also check out our news on Wednesday and our live stream on Thursdays evenings. Those have been really fun lately. A lot of new viewers, a lot of new participants. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you soon.